Just before going live here, Jeff and I were trying to come up with clever ways to bring you a cold open. Is it going to be something about Bohemian Tuck City? But instead, we're just going to tell you we're talking about the latest with Bichette and Kyle Tucker. There are some rumors, and it has to do with the Toronto Blue Jays, which of course means all of that has to do with the Dodgers, and that's coming up on this edition of All Dodgers. See you judging me in the corner of my eye there, Jeff. Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast, part of the Bleav Network podcast, presented by FanDuel. Joining me tonight is my friend and yours, that is Jeff Snider. Give him a follow at Snydog. And I don't know, I think I nailed the cold open.
Absolutely. It's like when I tell my wife, oh, you should have heard the inappropriate joke that I didn't say. I'm so proud of myself for not saying, and then I say it. And it's like, okay, do I still get the brownie points for not saying it?
I do. Yeah.
Didn't brag about not saying it? Because, we had some bad ideas for that cold open. And instead, we just hardly even did a cold open.
Yeah. I mean, the important thing is the friends we made along the way. Interesting.
I'm just here to make friends, actually.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people want to win. I just want to make friends.
No, we want to win. Dodgers are trying to go 3 in a row, and a good way to win the 3 World Series in a row is to get better, and one way they can get better is to either land a Kyle Tucker or either land a Bichette. I think everybody knows that we are really in on Bichette. I don't know if are you as in on Bichette as I am?
I was in on Bichette before you were.
Oh, I'll make it all about you.
Into it. Yeah.
Ted in the chat says, "Am I the only one not into Bichette?"
If the only 3 people are me, Clint, and Ted, then yes, Ted, you are the only one not into Bichette.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a number of people. Ted, you are not alone who aren't all the way in on Bichette. I think I've definitely maintained, I have espoused here online that the Dodgers have more help in the outfield currently than they do in the infield, and for years after the fact, after this 2026 season, they need some infield help. Bichette helps that out a lot at second base, where the Dodgers were abysmal last year, hitting a combined 239 Dodger second baseman hit. So you can use some offense there. Again, Bo would not be being signed as a shortstop because he is bad at it. We need to lay that out there. But anyways, the whole point.
I thought I heard on your other show that he's good at shortstop.
I tried my best to steer Alana in the right direction. But guys, the hot stove is cooking. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we're excited to actually get something that we can kind of stretch into something. But this is what sort of kicked off the day for me, and the idea that maybe we should go live back-to-back days. That's a record here in 2026. But there's a lot on the screen here. We'll summarize, or I'll just say words that I see along the way. But this comes via The Athletic. The Blue Jays saying they're going to be remaining in touch with Bichette's representatives as free agency evolves and remains fluid. But they also, apparently the Blue Jays, the incumbent team, is hoping, much like the Dodgers, for a shorter-term deal with the opt-outs. Similar here, like it's mentioning Alex Bregman. That's unimportant there. But what the author, whose name escapes me, Mitch something or other, Toronto needs to clear some payroll. That's the point here. I completely forgot about the existence of Anthony Santander there with Toronto Blue Jays. But it would have to. The suggestion here is, and what the author is hearing from sources, that the Toronto Blue Jays need to clear some payroll before they are able to also bring back a Bichette or even a Kyle Tucker in there. And I don't know, that's another so you're telling me there's a lot better of a chance.
Yeah, if Bichette doesn't go back to the Blue Jays, it seems to me like the Dodgers are the most obvious landing spot for him.
Same.
Not the only possible landing spot, and there are other teams with money, but he makes sense for the Dodgers. Dodgers make sense for him. And also, if they're worrying about salaries, do we really think they're going to sign the top free agent on the market in Kyle Tucker? If they're even thinking about money at this point, it's hard to see them signing either of these guys, and both of these guys, if the Blue Jays get out on them, suddenly that the Blue Jays are the other big spender this offseason. The Dodgers are always a potential big spender. Haven't been yet this offseason, but they're always going to be a potential. Blue Jays are the ones who have been doing it so far. If they're done spending big money, Dodgers, I joked the other day, I saw some friends of ours on the social medias uh, discussing Tucker or Bichette. And I just threw out the why not both gif, because why not
Yeah.
both? And honestly, I don't think it's likely they sign both, but I will say that crazier things have happened, and not in a Charlie Day sort of way, in an actual crazier things have happened. I like the Dodgers' chances to get a lot better in the next few weeks.
Yeah. Maybe even sooner. My prediction to end the 2025 calendar year was that we'd get a big signing by January 27th. Maybe it happens sooner because I'm pretty sure these boys are very tired of being free agents. But yeah, I'll throw this screen back up there. The fact that all of a sudden it feels like Toronto's crying a little bit poor after signing the Japanese fellow whose name continuously escapes me, and I swear one of these days I will learn it, just like I learned our hero Ron Rorvatelt. But yeah, this is trickle down economics of baseball. I decided it means that a door is very clearly open for the Dodgers and Bo Bichette. The Dodgers have a need for offense, and this is the other one that might excite some people, more so people that are on the pro Kyle Tucker side of things. Showtime LA had also put it in the chat that the Jays are more aggressive on the Kyle Tucker side, but apparently Jim Duquette, former MLB GM, and he is a writer, I believe, with the New York Post somewhere. No, he's also with the Athletic. But Mets, Jays, and the Dodgers are, quote, most aggressive in their pursuit of Kyle Tucker. Suddenly, I don't know. I believe this one a little bit less. I think this is the Dodgers being used the way these agents like to use writers to use the Dodgers. What do you think?
I think that's possible. Obviously, the Dodgers are always going to be linked to every big free agent, but I think when we're talking most aggressive, I think the possibility we've thrown out since the beginning of the offseason. We've said Dodgers aren't going to give Kyle Tucker 12 years. If he gets 12 years, it won't be from the Dodgers. But if Kyle Tucker gets to the point where he is looking for a shorter term, high AAV contract, the Dodgers make a ton of sense. Mm-hmm. And now it seems like maybe that is where he's at. And so I stand by the fact that I think the Dodgers make a ton of sense for Kyle Tucker if he is looking for a contract that fits their mold like that. And so, yeah, I absolutely do believe that the Dodgers are, if not being highly aggressive or whatever the quote was, at least very interested and
most aggressive, yeah,
at least somewhat aggressive.
Yeah, it is. It's been a really interesting offseason for both of these dudes, particularly Tucker and Bichette. There haven't been a lot of strong links. John C. earlier in the chat mentioning if Kyle Tucker is really that good, like why isn't he an organization as rich as the Cubs trying to keep him? And we've danced around the idea that this is he has maybe some clubhouse. I don't know if it's issues, but there's something. There's a flicker of something that maybe doesn't mesh in a clubhouse. I don't know. I feel like winning takes care of that sort of thing. But yeah, again, you don't hear a lot about these dudes. Now we're at that point where the agents, I think, are starting to push these writers and the insiders to start making some things happen. Start making fans run at their organizations with pitchforks and, hey, at Dodgers, why sign anybody? I don't know. I think that's how people still tweet or something like that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as the Kyle Tucker personality or whatever, until I hear anyone who's ever met the guy say something even remotely negative about him, I'm not just going to, I don't know how these things get started on social media like this, but even, our buddy Richie quoted Kyle Tucker in our chat saying that Kyle Tucker said he doesn't want to be the center of attention. And the fact is, no, he didn't. Ken Rosenthal and Will Salmon speculated in an article about the different places Kyle Tucker might sign. Hey, maybe the Dodgers might fit for his personality if he doesn't want to be the center of attention.
Yeah, more so being like an important piece or the most important piece of an offense. Yeah, he would be fifth on the depth chart in terms of most important bat for the Dodgers.
And there are 1,000 reasons that could appeal to a guy other than I don't have #mental toughness, which is the implication we were getting from Richie. No, the fact is Kyle Tucker has never said out loud in any public sphere, I don't want to be the center of attention, so I want to sign on a team with a lot of really good players. That might be part of his thinking. It might not. And if it is, you know what? Shohei Ohtani came to the Dodgers to win because they had Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. And, they had the best chance of winning. If Kyle Tucker comes because they have the best chance of winning, that is not a sign of a lack of #mental toughness. That is a sign of a guy who wants a ring. And, whether I'd rather have a guy who is comfortable fitting in with other superstars than a guy with the ego who has to be the man, which we've seen from other people, in free agency recently. And I'd rather have a guy who wants to be a team player and win. And I don't buy any of the concerns about Tucker's mental makeup or clubhouse factor or anything. I think Kyle Tucker is an excellent hitter. And my concerns about Kyle Tucker are 100% about contract length and was last year's poor defense related to health. Can he bounce back a little bit defensively? Those are my only two concerns on Kyle Tucker.
Maybe he knew, it was a walk year, didn't want to run into brick walls out there at Wrigley Field. But you mentioned the ability to hit, the enigma in the chat pointing out Kyle Tucker is a good hitter. Both of these guys, with Tucker and Bichette, are I'll say relatively similar, adjacent in that they have good bat-to-ball skills. One from the left side, one from the right side. Kyle Tucker, for the greater part, has posted a little more frequently, I would say, in his career. Obviously, last year had some health woes. The year before, his final year in Houston, had a couple of health woes. And we know, Bo Bichette has kind of been in and out of the lineup at times. But Bo is also a dude who has led the league in with hits a couple years in a row. He's got really good bat-to-ball skills. We've seen him hit in the biggest stage, hitting that 3-run homer off of Shohei in Game 7 of the World Series. He's got the stuff. You could even say maybe he's got some #mental toughness as well there. Neither of these guys, both they're similar in age. Tucker turns 29 in a couple of weeks, and Bo Bichette will be playing his age 28 season next year. I think I think it feels to me like Bichette can still hold out for a longer term deal because he's kind of the best, far and away the best infielder on the market. He could play second. He could be penciled in at shortstop. Maybe can play some third if he wants to get a little crazy. With Tucker, he also has the competition of Bellinger being out there and other guys being available in trade if there's somebody like a Jarren Duran. And, I'm going to stop even bothering with Stephen Kwan. I don't think Cleveland trades Kwan when they are in a window to try to maybe get to an ALDS, not even, win a World Series, but try to advance out of a wild card. I don't know. I said a lot there. Pick and choose where you want to go from there.
I love both of these guys. I am very interested in the Dodgers improving their contact hitting a little bit.
Yes.
And both of these guys are excellent hitters who don't strike out much. I think that's important. Specifically on Kyle Tucker, like when he's healthy, he hits like a Hall of Famer. I'm going to read you some names real quick, okay? Reggie Jackson, Ken Griffey Jr., Vlad Guerrero Jr., Pete Alonso, Mookie Betts, Prince Fielder,
wow,
Orlando Cepeda, Todd Helton, Jackie Robinson. Here's what I'm reading. I'm reading you Hall of Famers and or great players with a worse career OPS plus than Kyle Tucker. Like there are so many guys in the Hall of Fame or going to the Hall of Fame who are not as good a hitters as Kyle Tucker. who are in there for their hitting.
Yeah.
And obviously, yes, Ken Griffey Jr. at his peak was a better hitter. That's a career OPS plus. Ken Griffey Jr. second half of his career sucked because he had to pretend he had never taken steroids. Oops.
Ooh. Shots fired.
Tony Gwynn. You heard of him?
Pretty good.
Joe Morgan, Wade Boggs, Rod Carew, Hall of Famer, Rod Carew, Jose Ramirez, Roberto Clemente. Like, we are talking dozens of Hall of Famers who aren't as good a hitters as Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
Bichette is that level of hitter. When he's at his best, he's close to that. You know, his career OPS plus is dragged down by his really, really, really bad 2024. Every other year, his career worst year, other than that, was at 121 OPS plus. But that year actually dragged his career OPS plus down to that 121 mark. But you know, at his best, his rookie year, 144 OPS plus. That's Kyle Tucker every year. I mean, that's him. When he's healthy, he's great. And that's what the Dodgers need. Like, you want a guy who, when he's on the field, he's great. He's not going to be bad. So I love the idea of Kyle Tucker if they can get him on that right contract. And Bichette, I think, is a great hitter, would be an excellent addition to this lineup. Like I said, I don't think it's likely they get both of them, but I will be thrilled with either of them.
Yeah, you kind of running through that. I really hadn't afforded myself or allowed myself to take that deep dive into Kyle Tucker because I don't think the Dodgers really ever. I haven't felt like they were really seriously in on Kyle Tucker. Maybe now that is, the winds are kind of changing a little bit because we are now into January. And again, there have been very limited rumors and murmurs and mentions of this dude. Maybe things are getting a little bit desperate, and maybe much like the way Edwin Diaz happened, maybe they're like, let's throw this out. And if there's a nibble on the potential for a short-term deal, which I think both you and I definitely agree, ending up with Kyle Tucker for 8 or 9 years, I would prefer not that for sure. But I was blissfully unaware of how, like, I knew he was a good hitter, how insanely consistent he has been over the course of his career. Looking at the OPS plus, the weighted runs created plus. So, I'm on board with the whole idea of, hell, why not? Let's get them both. I don't think that happens, of course. I want to pause for a second, and then we'll circle back to the whole point of this show, again, for maybe some folks who are joining us late. Obviously, there's very little news about the Dodgers and Bichette. There is some new-ish news when it comes to Kyle Tucker and the Dodgers, but there is a wrinkle in the Bichette talk with the Blue Jays. But I was looking over at FanDuel because I feel like we haven't talked enough about Shohei Ohtani this offseason. Breaking news, Jeff, he's pretty good at baseball. We're finally getting some home run odds over there on the FanDuel. It must mean the season just around the corner. And you could bet on Shohei Ohtani to either hit over 48.5 homers or under 48.5 homers, or if you want to say 48.5. You taking an over or an under on that one? I mean, 50, back-to-back seasons so far.
Honestly, I don't think I would put the bet on Shohei because I think under is most likely, but I could never be the person who bet against Shohei Ohtani.
Fair.
I would actually go one spot higher on the page, look at Aaron Judge, whose over-under is 49.5. And I would take the under on Judge just because I think there's a decent chance he misses 20 games with injury. Yeah. And so that's what I would do. If I was looking for something on this particular page to bet on, I would go on the under on Aaron Judge at 49.5.
Do the Yankees go to Dodger Stadium again this year so we could find out if he
attack him again?
Decided to kick that damn curb over there off the right field. What do they call that? Bullpen. I'm trying to see. Let's see. When do you play the Dodgers? And is it? You know what? I'm getting real tired.
The Dodgers played in Yankee Stadium last year, so it'll be a Dodger Stadium.
Perfect. I'm getting real tired of MLB.com pushing this notifications thing, by the way. Like, you tell it, no, later. You can't exit out, but it later, and then the next page, it's like, hey, do you want notifications on? Fix yourself, MLB. Anyways, the point is, both of those are minus 113 odds. If you either want to bet on Ohtani to hit more than 48.5 homers or less than, or, of course, Aaron Judge, 49.5 or higher or lower, more or less, over or
Over
under.
under.
Anyways, check that out. There was an old read where you're not allowed to say over or under. Anyways, we appreciate FanDuel for supporting this version of the show, or this part of the show, whatever it is. Let's get into a couple of super chats real quick. Showtime LA with the $1.99. Good to see you in the chat, bud. Says, would you go 5+ years for Bo? I would. He's only 27. Yeah, I like Bo Bichette. For some reason, I like him a little bit more long term. And by long term, I think 6 or 7. I'm not going to do it. 6 or 7 years for Bichette for me. Tucker, same, maybe 4 to 6. I think either of these sort of shorter term deals are going to have opt outs. But what do you think? I'm assuming you're pro 5+.
Yeah, Tucker's he's like exactly a year older than Bichette. And when you look at health history and everything, I think I might trust Tucker to hold up a little bit better just because he's a stronger build. Bichette's a little guy. And maybe, I don't think Tucker's so big that he's going to break down physically. I feel like, 6'4", 212, which is what he's listed at. That's a pretty healthy size to age decently. And so I don't hate a 5-year deal for either of those guys.
Isn't that pretty close to Seager's build? I think
yeah.
Siegs is more of like a 220 guy, but
yeah. And Seager, who knows with Seager,
Yeah.
I don't hate a 5-year deal for either of those guys. I'm not really. I think anything longer than 5 for either of them concerns me. Mm-hmm. 5, I'd be good with. 4, I'd be thrilled with on either of them.
I think at this point too, and one of the things, again, I just said it, but one of the things they're mentioning in some of these articles, Ken Rosenthal yesterday and Mitch Hedberg, whatever his name is today, I think that whole, circling back to the Bregman idea, the Bregman contract, where it's probably going to be that short-term, high AAV, but something where they could opt out next season or this coming off season or even 2 years after to get through the next edition of the CBA and a potential lockout and all that kind of stuff. This is, I don't know, it's an interesting market for them, but that screen I just put up, I don't know, that's the thing that made me feel a little bit more excited about the idea of a Bichette. But now just you and I talking here today and people hanging out with us, I'm not opposed to Kyle Tucker. I felt more opposed before, but also I think that's because the Dodgers have so many freaking outfielders at the minor league level that of the 5 or 6 of them they have, at least one needs to pan out, maybe 2.
Yeah. The reason I'm more a Kyle Tucker fan than Bichette, and I love both, love the idea of both. Tucker fits the Dodgers mold a little bit better when you talk about a guy who will take a walk, for example. That's why there's such a big gap between their OPS pluses. That Tucker's at 140 for his career, Bichette's at 121. Most of that boils down to the fact that Tucker's on-base percentage is 85 points higher than his batting average. Bichette's on-base percentage is 43 points higher.
Way too much math for me.
Hashtag math, baby. Kyle Tucker, an easy way to look at it, Kyle Tucker, or Bo Bichette's walk rate for his career is 5.7%. Kyle Tucker's is 11.5%. Almost. No, that's more than twice as high of a walk rate. Mm-hmm. The strikeout rates are very similar, 15.8% for Tucker, 19.4% for Bichette, but a lot of that, like the last 3 years, it's been even better than that. So both of these guys strike out way less than league average, but Tucker strikes out less, walks more. He's just a slightly better hitter than Bo Bichette. And when you throw in the fact, as I think it was Ted earlier, saying the reason he's not on board with Bichette is the Dodgers need an outfielder. And well, yes, they get Bichette that can shuffle, that makes Edman a potential outfielder. It also, they still have potential trades for an outfielder. There's other ways to fill the hole in the outfield, but Kyle Tucker directly fills a hole in the outfield by playing in that hole in the outfield. If you look at, hey, we're going to replace Michael Conforto with Kyle Tucker on a team that just won the World Series, and we're going to replace the corpse of Michael Conforto with Kyle Tucker. I mean, it's when you look at it that way, it's an absolute no-brainer if they can get the contract that makes sense for them for their long-term goals.
And yeah, we entered this offseason with the messaging, with the thought that they desperately need outfield help because they just desperately needed outfield help that year, that regular season and into the postseason. So Tucker made a lot of sense. Cody Bellinger made a lot of sense, and then kind of played into this whole. Yeah, they could also use a second baseman and kick Tommy Edman out, but then I still think you got an issue in the outfield with Tommy Edman, if we're being honest. He's not an everyday guy. It's something we all need to resign ourselves to the fact about. Andy Pa has had a really, really good start to the season, kind of flattened out. Teoscar Hernandez, you don't know what you're going to get out of him next year. It does make a lot of sense to fortify that outfield, especially here when we're still all these dudes, these old dudes that keep saying they're old. They're not going to get any younger, so take advantage while you can. It's only money. It is not our money, and everybody, including our friend Francisco, is happy to pay a few more bucks for his Dodger dog and Michelada. And the reason I bring up Francisco because he's got a couple of super chats in here for us. $4.99. I accidentally called him Fernando yesterday on Dodgers territory, so I apologize. But he says, Fernando here, JK. Told myself I wasn't going to get my hopes up. As the days go on and the rumors are building, the more I want Bo in Dodger blue. And also he adds for $1.99. Thank you very much. I blame the Lakers for the Dodgers not making moves. Andrew Friedman, I tell you what. I think the point is, and we could probably get close to wrapping it up here. The plan was always a shorter show. We'll take either. And things are trending in a direction to where maybe one of these dudes signs with the Dodgers again. I'll put the screen back up again. Dodgers amongst the teams that are, quote, most aggressive on Kyle Tucker. Does that mean anything? Probably not. I'm sure they're just as aggressive now. They just are maybe having conversations with them again.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Tommy Edman, and for me, if the Dodgers signed Bo Bichette and said, okay, we've addressed our outfield with Tommy Edman, I would be disappointed. I'd be happy about Bichette. I would be disappointed in the manner in which they addressed the hole in the outfield.
Yeah.
I don't think that's likely that they do Bichette and then just call it a day. I think they would do something because I don't know if I agree with you that Edman's not an everyday player. I expect Tommy Edman to be quite a bit better in 2026 because he will be healthy, which I don't think he
wrong. Yeah.
I don't think Edman was healthy at all last year at any point, except maybe the first couple of weeks of the season. And so I think that we can expect him to be better. But like I said before, I think a ton of Tommy Edman's value comes from his ability to play 1,000 different positions. And so you don't want him to be your everyday center fielder because you are losing some of his value. You want him to be the guy who, okay, if Andy Pa has struggles against right-handed pitching, okay, Tommy, you're going to play center field sometimes against right-handed pitching, but you're also going to give Mookie Betts an occasional day off at shortstop. You're going to give Bo Bichette a day off at second base. You're going to give whoever a day off wherever. Max Muncy. If Muncy struggles against lefties, having Edman and Rojas both as options to play third base against left-handed pitching, that gives you options. So that's the role I want Tommy Edman playing. I don't want him penciled in as the solution in the outfield because even if he does play well, it would be an improvement. A healthy Tommy Edman is an improvement over Michael Conforto last year too. They could literally sign you to play the outfield, and as long as you never took the bat off your shoulder, it might be an improvement over Michael Conforto.
I don't know. I got that Tommy Edman ankle going right now. I got some problems.
Hey, just lean into the ball like you're Andres Jimenez,
Move up to it.
Oh, that one hit me. I know it was right down the middle. It hit me, Blue. I'm in the box, and that got me right in the belly.
Wait, I tried to get hit and then you hit me? How dare you?
And so that's
quote.
why I want Bichette and an outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
I
keep saying Bichette and Harrison Bader is a hell of an offseason, but I would not be mad. Just throwing it out there. I know it's bold. Would not be mad if they made it a Tucker and Bichette. And it just really pissed people off in the baseball world.
I got a phone call the other night, 1 a.m, from
Kevin,
an old high school friend. No, but similar to what it might have been if it had been Kevin after watching the Raiders play. This old high school friend, I haven't seen him since high school. We've texted off and on over the last couple decades, and I had just come across a picture of me and him, and I texted it to him. And then six hours later, he calls me at 1 a.m. He's a Padres fan. He was drunk, and he has got some feelings about the Dodgers. None of them are rational. All of them involve the phrase ruining baseball. He got very mad when I suggested that maybe AJ Preller is not a great GM. I enjoyed the conversation quite a bit, but there are people fired up, and I don't hate the idea of firing them up more. Let's just because the fact is the Dodgers got Freddie Freeman because the Braves blew it.
Yeah.
The Dodgers got Mookie Betts because the Red Sox blew it. Man. The Dodgers even got Shohei Ohtani because the Angels blew it. Like the stars the Dodgers have, they kind of fell into their laps. And so if Bichette and Tucker both fell into their laps, it would just crack me up. Just throw in some deferred money just to make sure that everybody understands that Kike is right when he talks about how much we care. Mm-hmm. I love the idea. It's not going to happen. They're not going to sign both of them. Even one of them will make people mad. Mm-hmm. But also, hashtag why not both?
I mean, if you can exit the offseason having signed Bichette, Kyle Tucker, and Edwin Diaz. Listen, I'm a Dodger fan, but even not, I might be a little upset at the Dodgers for that one. But it's all right. I'll get over it when they're hoisting another piece of metal at the end of the season. But couple more super chats, and then we'll wrap it up. Hopefully, we got people excited. I again seeing these little like sprinkles. It's like they're somebody. I'm a bird and they're throwing me some bread in the pond, which I think is bad for birds or ducks. I'll go with a duck. This little bit of breadcrumbs, I'm just like, let's go, baby. Let's get us some signings again. Let's restart this freaking off season. But Richie Flores in the chat, $4.99. Thank you very much, Richie. Says you can talk about numbers all you want. Numbers don't tell anything about what's in a player's heart, his makeup. Bo is my kind of player. He has guts. Of course, he does have guts. We saw it. He was playing very hampered during that World Series. I think that does mean something. I agree with the idea of somebody who's willing to be gritty and tough and all that, but the Dodgers seem to have a lot of those dudes as well. Tommy Edman, we just talked a bunch about him. I agree with you, Jeff, that he was not right. He was nowhere near right. He probably wasn't even close to 80% for a majority of the season. And I feel like I should add, when I say Tommy Edman's not an everyday player, I mean more in I want to see him in that Chris Taylor role, which is what you basically described. He's playing just about every day. He's playing 130 some odd games, 140 games a year, but he's not necessarily tied to or married to any particular position. Got another super chat. The Enigma $4.99. Thank you very much, buddy, for supporting the show. Everyone who is against Tucker, remind and listen to Jeff's stats. Again, he's very elite. I don't understand why you wouldn't want him on a good deal. There's the thing, on a good deal. I do worry about, if it's a 10-year deal, I'm out. 9-year deal, out. It's got to be. Well, yeah. Even if it is a long-term deal, it's going to have opt-outs, and they are going to opt out. Unless it's a 10-year deal.
If they front load it, Yeah. Opt-outs. I just slacked you the picture that I sent to my old high school friend. If you want to pop it up on the screen, is when this guy and I were teammates together on the Padres when we were 13 years old. And if you want to see big, fat, goofy-looking Jeff Snider.
Look at him right now on the screen. Oh, there's a 13-year-old. You threw that in late. There he is.
There it is.
Oh, look at that.
That cute little guy next to me, that's the guy I got the drunk phone call from the other night. So Yeah.
Way to go, that guy.
And I mean, could I fill out a uniform or what?
Man, look at you. You know what? You should wear, much like Kevin wore his Cubs jersey, you should wear that Padres jersey on one of these
That was
shows.
Little League. We had to give the jerseys back at the end of the season so that some other fat kid could wear it the next year.
Fat guy in a little jersey.
Padres jersey.
Let's see. I just saw Aesthetic Delta. Solid name. Happy I enunciated it all right. I wasn't sold on Bo, but I've slowly warmed up to the idea now. That's what we're here for. We're here to get people either ready for these dudes to sign elsewhere and then now feel sad, or be very, very excited that they are going to be Dodgers when that does happen. Reminds me, we should probably get Bo Bichette to the Dodgers or Bo Bichette to the Phillies. I think it's going to be Dodgers or Phillies, but we should get those thumbnails ready so we could hit the live real quick before all them sucks, the suckers that do Dodger shows. Nobody likes them. We like most of them.
I like most of them. Yeah.
We'll walk away from that one. Let's see. Final one. Do you have any chat that you want to throw up there, by the way? J. White Gibbs says Clint is trying to kill Jeff's career. Jeff has a career.
I sent the picture.
Yeah, this is fair. Jamie
Yeah.
or Jaime says that you look like a young John Kruk.
Yeah, you know what? I have rarely related to a professional athlete more than when John Kruk said, "I'm not an athlete, I'm a baseball player." That hit home to me. Yeah, you know what? This was I could fill out a baseball uniform. Let's put it that way. I was husky. That's what they used to call us fat kids. Did you grow up in the husky era?
Yeah.
I remember the day I discovered that husky meant fat, and I'm like, what? My mom's been calling me what all these years? But that's actually what clothing stores called the section for those little fat kids.
Yep.
Husky. Like,
It was,
we're
yeah.
little fat. Oh.
Yeah, you can't really have that. That's not very PC or progressive to have it. The little fat kids section.
Fat kids section.
When we open up the All Dodgers,
The All Dodgers
shop,
department store. Yeah. Little
we're gonna
fat
have
kids.
the little fat kids section where everybody can shop and spend their hard-earned money.
Every jersey's as wide as it is tall.
You know what? They got to fix that, or we got to fix ourselves. Which, of course, Jeff has already done a great job. He's down like 700 pounds or something like that. He's doing great.
Take off a zero, but yeah, it's.
To end the show, which we ended up going longer than I anticipated. Then it just became about gushing about the idea that the Dodgers can get both. But Ray Soto caps us off nicely with a $4.99 super chat saying Happy New Year's to yous. Appreciate Ray Soto hanging out with us in the chat. Appreciate everybody else as well hanging out with us in the chat. Jenny's got a good point. I need to upload. We're going to upload the Jeff emoji to the... What was this called? To the YouTube. If you want to use those emojis in the chat, you got to sign up for the members, YouTube members. Just to be able to use the emojis, I think I set it to like 99 cents, which is the cheapest version you can do. So you can do that. It does support us. Or there's a $5.99 or a $4.99 tier there on the YouTube members, which gets you access to our Discord server where we're talking about the Dodgers all day long, and we get excited when things actually happen. You could also sign up over on Patreon, patreon.com/realfrg. Patreon takes less money from us than YouTube does, just throwing that out there. Either way, the best way to support us is to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, trying to get to 25.
99 cents on YouTube to get your emojis, and then $5 a month on Discord. That's the best way to actually $10 a month on Discord, just because you like us double. There's two.
William didn't mean it in this context, but I'm going to go with this context of hashtag why not both.
Why not both?
Why not both, guys? Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on this unexpected. Is it Tuesday? It's a Tuesday show. Unexpected Tuesday edition of the show. We will do these kind of shows, last minute lives when there is stuff to talk about. And today there was something to talk about. But again, appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Appreciate FanDuel for presenting the show. Appreciate Bleav Network having us on the show. Appreciate Snider for being a part of the show. I appreciate myself for I didn't put on pants for this.
I appreciate you too.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.